Everybody, welcome back with the Plat. Today I'm going to give you a couple tips if you're brand new to gacha games in general. Now, this isn't necessarily directly connected to this game. It's more general rules of thumb for gacha games, but I mean, it does apply to this game as well. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Number one, and the one that I fell for a lot when I started playing gachas for the first time, is over investing in lower rarity characters and characters that I just thought were cool looking or liked. Now, this is a video game at the end of the day, so you gotta have fun. That's literally the most important thing, is have fun playing the video game. But this is a game designed where you have a finite number of resources, and the only way to get more of those resources is to wait, is time, or it's to spend money. So if you spend, even if it seems like, oh, Crimson Falcon, this could be a bad example, I don't know, but let's say Crimson Falcon, let's do someone that's definitely bad. Outlaw Axeman is my favorite character. Look how cool he looks. And he's a common unit. You just want to invest all your resources into him. You might have fun in the short term, but in the medium term, you're going to wish you had those resources back a lot of times. So just don't overinvest immediately in whatever you see that you like. If you want to get the most out of your resources and you want to be able to basically level everyone up to max level and get everyone, you're going to want to start focusing on the powerful, more meta units first. And I know that sounds a little, you should play games in the way you want, but remember, playing a gacha in purely the way that you want comes with a higher cost of time gating. Basically, it could take you a month to get those more resources that you just spent on this unit, or it could take you lots of money. So make sure you're careful with your resources and don't overinvest in just anything willy-nilly. Because like I started the game and like these are my first guys, and I just like, oh, I leveled them all up to max. And Dragon Quest Tact, I was like, this is my favorite unit. It's a slime. I'm gonna level up all the slimes. And then it's like, oh, even in the mid game, it was like, it wasn't. They fell off really quick, and then suddenly I didn't have those resources and any of the gold. But anyway, consider that. Number two is to be careful where you spend your gems, which is going to be your primary currency for summoning. I'm sure there's going to be other things to use the gems on, but primarily it's going to be used for summons to pull characters. Now, I know this is the second one that's about resources. Gachas are very much a resource management game on a meta level, so it is important to keep that in mind. If you're playing a gacha, you're trying to manage your resources well. And when I say be careful with your summoning currency, I mean, that's kind of obvious, right? But two things to kind of keep in mind: don't spend it on things that aren't going to give you heavy impact. Like, for example, when it comes to the mighty weapons, like if you've played, maybe you haven't, this is a new gacha player, but a lot of gacha games will have something like this. Like Genshin Impact has, I don't know if it's Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail has like the light cone system, right? You could pull for a character, and then you could do summons for their signature light cone. So I don't even think these are signature weapons, anything like that, although I think they can add that later. That's not important. The point is, you don't want to spend your gems on things like this. This is like, it doesn't say this anywhere on the screen, but this is heavy spender items. What you want to do is you want to spend your summons on summoning characters, because the most important thing you can do is get characters. Now, in addition to that, typically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to save until you can get guaranteed pity. So most gachas now, this day and age, they haven't always had it, they have pity systems where basically you're guaranteed to get a character. It might change per banner after a certain amount of summons. So you basically want to save until you can guarantee get a character that you want to add to your account for whatever reason, because you either really like them or they're really powerful or something. And then you summon there. Because there's nothing worse than if you have like half of what you need and you have like a 50-50 chance of getting a unit, and then you miss the 50-50, and then the next unit comes and you don't really want them, but then maybe you do have enough to guarantee that other unit, but you miss the character you want and there's just no possible way to get it. So it's typically better just to save up so you get guarantee, because you're gambling. And so wait till you have a guarantee. It's not a gamble. It might be expensive, but it's not going to be a gamble. And then if you get it early, then you've basically saved all those other gems, right? So ignore these, especially if like this is going to be heavy spender territory. If you start spending in here, it means that you're planning on spending a lot of money, because you're probably already going to have all the characters, and then you're going to start going for this. Finally, in games like this that have currency, typically there's going to be a energy associated cost, basically. And look, okay, I got some stuff here, but let's say I use this. Let's see if it'll let me use gems. There we go. So you can see it's going to cost this like premium currency, which I think is actually even more premium than, yeah, this is like some sort of premium currency that you could use to buy stamina. So typically you might be willing to do this. It depends on the game, but let's say you could do this maybe once. But remember, if you do this once a day, suddenly it's 60 for the first one. That means every 3 days you're losing one summon. Every month you're losing a multi, right? And that could be worth it depending on what you're getting farming wise for that 120 energy. But this is something you want to be very careful with. When in the early game, when you have a lot of this stuff, it's going to feel like you could just burn. Like, oh, I don't know, maybe I've got 10,000 of whatever these gems. Instead of summons, let's just spend 2,000 of it on energy. Probably not worth it. Make sure you're careful where you spend your limited resources. While on the topic of resources, one thing that is the most important thing, the most valuable resource in the game, unless you're crazy rich, but even then, even if you're crazy rich, it's not going to matter. The most valuable resource you have in the game is the time invested into your account. One way or another, the game is going to take a lot of playing to get where you need to go. Logging in every day and making it a habit to just come in, do the dailies, get the minimum, do the minimum thing required to get the daily rewards and log out is such an important thing for long-term account strength. Even if you're not going in and using all your energy, which, obviously you should if you're trying to get the most out of it, but at least doing the minimum where you get the dailies and you're getting your daily currency, your weekly currency, your monthly currency. Then let's say you take a few months off and you just spend 5 minutes, if that, a day playing. You come back in a couple months, suddenly you have a bunch of summons and you could get back into the game with a new character probably, and you could have a really good time. Whereas if you take a complete break, you come back and you have no summons and you're behind because everyone else has been playing while you've been gone. So you don't have anything new to play with and you're also behind. So it is an annoying part of a gacha, but in a way it also is a positive in the sense that if someone spends $10,000 more than you, but they only play 1 day a week, there's a chance that you could beat them if you play every day, right? Because they're just not putting in enough time to get strong enough. That might be an extreme example, but you know what I mean. Like, the most valuable thing you could do is actually play the game. Get in there, do your stuff. It is very important for the long-term strength of your account. Number 4, we talked about money several times, and this is one of the things that I want to highlight the most. Gachas are inherently predatory. Maybe not everyone agrees with me. I think gachas are inherently predatory. It's a lot of FOMO. It's a lot of tricks, step up spending. Oh, first purchase is 99 cents. Now you're a spender. Now maybe you spend $5. I've already spent $6. What's another $20? There's a lot of tricks and a lot of manipulation to get you to spend more money than you're thinking you're spending. It's not just all $100 purchase, buy a gems, do a summoning session. It's a lot of nickel and diming, $10 here, $10 there, $15 there, $5 there, $1 there, and then suddenly you add it up at the end of the week and you're like, it's like if you add up how much food much money you spend on food. At least for me, I'm like, holy crap, how do I spend that much money on food? But that's how gachas are. So plan out your spending in advance. Give yourself it doesn't need to be a hard budget, right? Like, you could decide what you want to spend, but give yourself like a range. Like, I want to spend, I don't know, 10 to 100. If you want to spend $1,000, it doesn't matter. The amount of money that you're spending isn't important. What is important is that you decide in advance what you want to spend, and then you track your spending, because it's so easy to accidentally go over it because it's so nickel and dimey in a lot of gacha games. A lot of it's like, okay, I'm just going to spend $5 here. I'm going to spend $20 there. Oh, it's a big purchase. I'm going to spend $30. But then even if you do, 10 $5 purchases, once a week, you do a $5 purchase, suddenly you spent $20, but maybe it didn't feel like it. So now you're like, oh, I haven't spent that much this month. Then you do another $20 purchase. Now you're up to this is how they're designed with this in mind, right? They're designed. It's not an accident. So just keep it in mind. As long as you're aware of your spending and you are tracking it, and you feel you're getting value out of it, then I have no problem. Spend $10,000 in this game if it makes you happy and you feel like you're getting value out of it. But just be careful, all right? It is a gacha. It is gambling. It preys on that part of our brains. So be careful, plan it out. And finally, actually, this leads right into number 5 perfectly. The main thing I could say is be patient. if you're new to gachas, this is going to be an alien experience to you, because most video games are just, you buy it and it's designed for you to beat it in a certain amount of time. Even Elden Ring, that's insanely long, right? Like 100 whatever hours for a playthrough. If you buy Elden Ring, you start playing it, you hit like walls, you go, you grind, you come back, you beat the wall, and at the end of it, you beat the game whenever at your own pace. You beat the game at your own pace. This is a gacha. You do not beat the game at your own pace. The game lets you beat it at its pace. The game sets the pace in a lot of ways. Yes, you can get over walls and stuff, but you're going to come up against walls that are designed for you not to beat them, unless you spend a lot more money, or you need a lot more time in your account, or they need to power creep it with units. You will come up against content that is not designed to be beaten by you, which is very weird as a video gamer, because when you come up against walls, you're designed always, the game's designed to lose. Like, you're supposed to get to a spot, beat it, continue on, beat the game, set it down, move on with your life. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. A gacha is you play this game for a long period of time, and you're gonna hit a wall, and then what you could try, maybe you overcome it, but if it's really like, oh, this is just not fucking possible, I'm not getting through this, you just stop doing that. You don't put the game down, but you just go level up your account. You explore other aspects of the game, other levels, other this, other that. And that's okay. You just got to be patient. You'll get to the point where you're strong enough. They'll release more powerful characters, which you'll eventually be able to pull on. They will, you'll get your equipment stronger. You'll build your characters up stronger. Just as by playing the game, your account every single day you play a gacha, which is one of the main positives of a gacha in a lot of ways. If this game goes on 10 years or whatever, it doesn't matter. Every day you play the gacha, your account is stronger than it was the day before. It's always improving. Now, it might be slow at times, definitely slow at times. But even if you only gain 1 gem in a day, your account is stronger than it was the day before, because you're one step closer to pulling the next OP character. Your characters are constantly leveling. Your equipment's constantly getting stronger. You're constantly getting new characters. Not constantly, but you're getting all this stuff. So every day your account is stronger than it was before, which is a very good aspect, because you always have a sense of progression. But the downside of that is that sometimes you're going to have to be patient. The game is not always designed to let you win in this case. It's designed to make you lose unless you want to spend a shit ton of money. Then it's designed to let you win just a little bit more and then make you lose, so you got to spend that money again. Like, if you spend a bunch of money, you get past a level, like 3 levels, and then there's another level past that. You're like, well, I can't get through that. I guess I got to spend that much money again. Max out all my characters. And again, the game will be power grip. I'm starting to ramble about this point, but that's a very important thing, because it's so the antithesis of a lot of other kinds of video games. Be patient. The game sets the pace. Don't try to beat the game. The game is designed to beat you in a lot. When it's done, it'll let you win, and then it'll say, hey, you're done winning unless you spend money. That's just the way it goes. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. If you have any other tips, if you're an experienced gacha gamer that's played this game, or any gacha games, leave some tips down below, and I'll pin some of the good ones. Anyway, much love. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. Bye! Platypus on the rise, watch the views go.